Everyone talks about AI like it's inevitable, the next internet, the future of work, adapt or be left behind. And listen, I get the hype. I was part of it. I worked at an AI company. I pitched AI to enterprise clients. I led sales, shaped product thinking, and closed deals that on paper looked like the future. But 6 months later, every client I signed had churned. Not because the product idea sucked, but because it never actually solved anything. It added layers, it added complexity, and it didn't move the needle. That's when I started asking the question that most people building in AI are too deep or too funded to ask. Is this really helping anyone, or are we all just building expensive prototypes to stay relevant? My name is Damla and I used to work in enterprise tech. I've been a product owner, a marketer, and most recently a C-level exec at an AI startup. And 3 months ago, I stepped away. I did not burn out. I did not find myself in Bali. Maybe not yet. I just got honest. I wanted to build something useful, something that actually worked. Something that wasn't just technically impressive, but humanly effective. And this video is the full breakdown of why I walked away from AI and what I decided to build instead. So let me walk you through what working at an AI startup actually looked like. I was not just watching from the sidelines. I was leading enterprise sales, managing GTM strategy, and supporting the product roadmap. I closed some of the biggest clients that company had ever signed, big logos and budgets. The kind of deals that make investors happy and give founders that temporary dopamine hit. But from day one, I could feel the tension between what we promised and what we could actually deliver. AI, especially in the B2B world, gets sold as this magical layer. It will automate decision making, it will boost productivity, it will reduce headcount and make everything run smoother. What clients actually got? More dashboards, more onboarding, more hand-holding, more questions like, what does this even mean? Who owns this workflow now? Why are we spending money on something no one's using? And I don't blame them. Most AI products are built in labs, not in real-world business environments. They sound smart, but they create friction. Instead of solving operational pain, they shift the pain somewhere else. More alignment meetings, more change management, more tool fatigue. Within 6 months of signing those deals, every single enterprise client I closed churned. All of them. Not because the client was not ready or bad fit, but because AI didn't help them grow. It just helped us sell. And that's where I started losing patience with the whole game. Internally, I saw a lot of high IQ people trying to brute force relevance. You'd hear, we just need a better onboarding flow. Let's reframe the future, call it predictive instead of generative. Maybe it's not the product, it's the client. But the problem was never the branding. It was the fact that we were solving imaginary problems for people who needed real ones fixed. At some point, I realized I was not just frustrated with my job, I was frustrated with the entire narrative around AI. Everyone was talking about it like we were in the middle of a revolution. Founders, VCs, LinkedIn thought leaders, even small business owners suddenly had an AI angle. But I couldn't shake this one feeling. This was just IT all over again. If you've ever worked in enterprise or product, you know what I mean. You sit through these beautiful pitch decks, futuristic diagrams, cost-saving projections, charts with hockey stick curves, but once implementation starts, that's where the fantasy ends. It's long, political, and expensive. And you're 6 months in before you realize. No one knows who's using this, what success looks like, or how to measure any of it. AI is sold the exact same way. It's dressed up as strategy, but it usually lands as overhead. Everyone's busy exploring use cases, setting up prompts, retraining models, configuring integrations, and meanwhile, the actual business results stall. People spend weeks building workflows that make something 4% faster while ignoring the fact that 40% of the team is confused and drowning in tool fatigue. I remember sitting in meetings where someone would say, what if we used AI to predict which product a user wants before they search for it? Sounds smart, right? Until you realize we don't even have clean data. The backend's messy, the analytics aren't trustworthy, and we haven't talked to a real user in 6 months. So we're using a buzzword to cover up basic execution gaps. This is why most AI products today feel like a shiny skin over something incomplete. And most companies don't need AI. They need better offers, clearer copy, simpler onboarding. But AI looks smarter on a pitch deck. It gets you funding. It makes you sound like you're building the future. I had to get honest with myself about that too. There were moments where I knew something was not working, but I'd still push it forward because that was the game. ship fast, make it sound good, and figure it out later. But I was done selling vaporware. I was done watching people throw time and money at something they didn't even understand because they were too afraid of falling behind. Now here's the part I haven't really talked about publicly. I was not just working in AI, I was building something of my own. While I was still running Swiss Impact Store, I started mapping out a product idea. Something that would use AI to generate personalized ethical shopping suggestions. You'd enter a few prompts, your style, your preferences, maybe your mood, and the system would serve you curated product matches from vetted ethical brands. It sounded perfect in theory. Solve decision fatigue, remove hours of manual curation, and help women find high-quality alternatives to fast fashion without needing to scroll for hours. Basically, style Rex, but smart. And I got pretty far with the idea. I mapped out the UX, I mocked up flow, I knew how to train it on my existing database of 1,500 products. I even explored scrapping inputs from people's Pinterest boards or using color profiles to refine suggestions. But as I started running through edge cases, real use cases, real women, real context, I saw the same issue I'd seen in enterprise. The system could generate a recommendation, but that recommendation didn't necessarily mean anything. You still needed someone to check it, to verify the quality, assess whether it fit the person's budget, their lifestyle, their actual emotional state. And if I had to manually edit the output half the time, what exactly was the point? And here's the other thing. You cannot automate trust. People come to Swiss Impact Store not because it's a marketplace, but because they want help from someone who actually gets it, who understands the emotional roller coaster behind shopping habits, who knows what it feels like to be stuck between fast fashion shame and luxury brand performance. And an AI tool, no matter how well trained, can't read those layers. It can tell you what's beige and under 150 Swiss francs, but it can't tell you why you keep buying things you don't even wear. It can't guide you toward becoming someone who shops with self-respect. So I shelved the whole thing because it was not necessary. Not for the kind of business I actually want to run and the kind of community I want to build. Once I shut down the AI project, I went quiet for a bit. I needed to rebuild from a place of clarity. Not hype, not growth hacks, just usefulness. I asked myself, what actually helps people? What's something I've done that people keep coming back for? And not because it's scalable, but because it actually works. The answer was simple. Every time I posted an outfit breakdown, I got DMs. Every time I shared a brand alternative, someone said, "Thank you, I never would have found that on my own." Every time I helped someone understand their style or clean up their closet or find a product that feel like them, not like a trend, they were coming back. So I stripped everything down and started again. I turned Swiss Impact Store into a private shopping club, a space where I could offer what I was trying to automate, but personally, with human support delivered where people already live in their DMs. Inside the club, here is what I offer. Weekly product suggestions based on style, budget, and vibe. Outfit recs, ethical brand swaps, styling ideas using what you already own. And beyond the fashion part, I offer monthly one-on-one calls where we talk about everything that affects how you show up. Career shifts, life transitions, identity upgrades. Because most of the time, it's not about the dress, it's about the moment you're trying to dress for. What I'm doing now may not look disruptive on paper. It's not powered by AI. It doesn't scale to 1 million users, but it works. Because it's rooted in connection, in knowing who you are serving, and in actually caring about whether they're better off after using what you built. Some people might say I took a step back by not going forward with AI, that I walked away from something big to build something boring. And maybe they're right, but I've never been more clear on what real value feels like. I'm not interested in building for headlines. I'm interested in building something that someone actually wants to keep using. I used to think I had to prove I could scale, that to be taken seriously I had to build like the boys. And the older I get, the more I care about alignment over achievement. I care less about what looks innovative and more about what feels highly valued. Now we're in this weird cultural moment where people are obsessed with scale. Everyone wants to 10x their business. Everyone wants to automate, optimize, and remove themselves from the process. But what if being involved is the value? What if the personal part is not a bottleneck, it's the actual differentiator? I'm not saying AI won't be useful. It will. It already is in certain aspects, but it's not a replacement for intention. It's not an excuse to stop thinking. It's not a shortcut to meaning. I could have gone the AI route, I knew how, but I didn't want to build something that looked smart and felt empty. I'd rather build something that looks simple, and feels real. And if that means growing slower, if that means less buzz, fewer investors, and no TechCrunch headline, so be it. What I'm building now might not be the future of commerce, but it's grounded and intentional, and it works. If you've been feeling the pressure to jump into the AI race just to stay relevant, I hope this gave you permission to pause, to think for yourself, and to build what actually matters to you. Thanks for watching.